Hi, everybody. I'm Matthew, and I'm making my first video post today because I wrote a piece about a week ago called "We Are All Made of Stardust," and it got a lot of attention and lots of shares and comments, and people really seemed to resonate with it. So I thought I would make a video and just talk a little bit more about why I wrote it. Um, I thought it could be meaningful to explore together in a more personal way. Um, so I'll share a little bit about why I wrote it. Basically, it was a Sunday morning, and I've this experience that I wrote about was gosh, 30 years ago when I was just a young and just in junior college and took an astronomy class, and it has so resonated with me over the years. I've told versions of this story to a lot of folks, a lot of people that were struggling, a lot of nephews and nieces, because it had so much meaning for me and helped me really find my place in not only my own life but in the greater scheme of all things. I at that point in my life was definitely feeling pretty lost and small in ways that were a struggle. And when I kind of deepened into this perspective and understanding of what was out there and in the cosmos, it really helped me feel my place into that. And it gave me a deepening of my own faith in something greater than myself. A lot of folks, it was astronomy, but as I'll read an excerpt here in a second, and as I do that, I think you'll get a sense of kind of why and how it hit me. A lot of folks don't see science as something that can help increase one's faith. It's often pitted against faith, but for me, I see a deep interconnection in all this, and it really helped ground it in me. But let's just I'll take a deep breath and I'll read you an excerpt, but I want to just ground myself and any of you out there who are maybe having a day. I want to just take a few deep breaths with me. I like to breathe in. I breathe in around 4 or 5 seconds, and then I hold it for about 6 seconds, and then I exhale for even longer. That's one of the calming forces, is to exhale longer than the inhale. I practice that a lot so I can exhale for quite a while. So I'm going to read this excerpt from the article, which is just my story of what I experienced. Let me start here. Put my glasses on. One of the most profound moments in my life happened in an college astronomy class. I still remember sitting there as my professor tried to give us a sense of the true scale of the cosmos. I'd never heard anything like it. It rearranged something in me and how I see my life. He began by explaining that our solar system is modest in size. Our star is the sun, and that the Milky Way, our galaxy, which is our cosmic home, is also a fairly average galaxy. Average, and yet it holds more than 100 billion stars, each with their own potential solar systems. That alone was staggering. Then he went further. The observable universe contains more than 100 billion galaxies, likely hundreds of trillions or even quadrillions of stars scattered across unfathomable distances. That's a rough word. And that was a whoa moment. Hearing the surprisingly vast scale of it all left me with a wondrous sense of both awe and humility at how much life and possibility might be out there. The idea that Earth could be the only place with life suddenly felt almost impossible. And indeed, the odds are infinitesimal infinitesimally small that there is out there. But it wasn't just the numbers that moved me most. It was the sense of profound interconnectedness, an intimate belonging inside the whole of all creation. Instead of feeling small, I actually felt held inside a much larger story of creation, of an abundantly powerful, creative, and contributive cosmos. So that's an excerpt of it. And I think it gives you at least a sense of the scope of a young kid who, didn't know that information, but just the grand scale of it all. I just found so inspiring and moving and overwhelming in the best way possible. I remember, when I was a kid, I grew up on a farm in Texas, and we were in the middle of nowhere, and the part of Texas I was in was very flat, and the skies were dark. We were far enough away from a city that had very dark skies, and so the stars, I would just lay out on my parents' truck, on the roof of the truck. I remember, because we had dogs that wanted to jump all over and lick me. So I'd sit up on the truck, lay on the truck, and just take in all of that light, all of that. I had a sense then of some, the massive scale of what was out there. And I always took comfort in that. It just helped me feel like the little things going on in my life weren't the only things happening out in the not just the world, but the whole universe, the whole cosmos. And when I really learned this data, it just grounded that for me so much. It changed something, you know, pretty significant inside of me. And instead of feeling so small, I started to feel more held. Um, and that's a faith that I keep returning to in the moments of my life, especially during times of stress and overwhelm. I can really close my eyes, take those deep breaths, and breathe into that space of the grand cosmos that contains the entirety of all known creation. And that helps me gain perspective, and it also helps me regulate my nervous system, as I can just kind of breathe into so much powerful creativity that has gone into creating this universe that we're all living in. And as I say in the article, we all carry within us this inheritance in our cells, this stardust, this ancient story. There's a piece, and there's a quote in the piece. Let me find it here, that Deepak Chopra wrote. And I don't think this quote is completely accurate scientifically. I've looked up some of the data, but the thrust of it is very accurate. Deepak said, I don't know where, but that's a quote I found. He said, "In just the last 3 weeks, a quadrillion atoms have gone through your body that have gone through the body of every other species on this planet. The atoms in your fingernails could have come from one galaxy, and the atoms in your nose, the same carbon, could have come from another galaxy. You are the total universe recycling at this moment as this body, which is constantly and ever never the same. Your moods, your emotions, your thoughts, your relationships are affecting this holistic system that is at the same time mind, brain, epigenome, genome, microbiome. These are all science words for parts of our body. The whole of your biology and the totality of the universe." That's, again, not quite scientifically accurate, but this is happening. We are constantly changing and shifting. The cells and the atoms in our bones. We think of our bones as something solid and never changing, maybe growing, but they're constantly shifting. We're not the same person we were several years ago, for example. We are pulling in this stuff that was created gazillions of light years away in other parts of the galaxy. This is like the birth of this beautiful swirl of the cosmos that just really inspires me, and I love to again breathe and meditate into that. Sometimes when I'm not feeling connected, I just feel into my sense of that big, grand, beautiful, intricate, interconnected creation that's everywhere and that's a part of me, and I'm a part of it. So anyway, that's a bit of why I wrote it. I woke up that Sunday morning and had that in my head and just decided I'd, share it as a story of something that's touched me and that's moved me and that helps ground me when I weave into it. And yeah, and I'm just wondering, maybe, what are the things for you? When you get, you're getting lost in the micro details of life, um, what do you tune into? What do you tap into to help you feel more connected and more grounded, or more expansive in this case? Have you ever had a moment or moments where the vastness of life brought you peace instead of fear? Or what helps you feel connected when you feel overwhelmed by all the small stuff? I'd love to hear from all of you, or any of you who are inspired to share, and we can start a conversation together in the comments and kind of learn from each other and listen to each other. I think that would be inspiring. And if you haven't read the article, please do. I'll link to it in this video. It's also on my Substack, which is Matthew Albrecht, ALBRACHT.substack.com. And yeah, thanks for listening. I really appreciate all of you for being a part of my writing community and what I'm working on in these realms. And yeah, hope you're all going to have a great day.